In this video, I'm going to show you how one single ad creative generated over 570K in revenue at a 2.9x ROAS for one of our clients in a single month. I'll show you exactly how we came up with the idea for this ad, how we put together the script for this ad, how we found the creator to actually cast into this ad, and I'll show you all of the learnings and insights that we've taken from this specific creative. And also I'll show you how other brands, 8 and 9-figure brands in our space, are leveraging this same style of creative and oftentimes finding it as their top spending ad in their ad account, scaling to multiple millions of views and hundreds of thousands of dollars in ad spend. Before we get into my laptop and I show you all of the ins and outs, all of the data and the insights and everything like that, if you want a team of creative experts, my team of creative experts, to plug into your business as your essentially outsourced creative team to produce scalable ads for you on a consistent basis that have at least 20% win rate, meaning 20% of the ads that we produce are winners across the board. This is a sample set of multiple $1 million in ad spend. What I want you to do is click the link below this video, go ahead and book in a call to speak with me, and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together. And lastly, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and like this video. Let's get into the breakdown. So how exactly did we generate more than 570K in revenue for one of our clients last month at a 2.9x ROAS in just 30 days from one single ad? Now, the ad type I'm going to be talking about is probably one that you might have seen me talk about on Twitter in the past. It's a listicle creative. And I still think that listicle creatives, when executed well and when done to target the right audience, are probably some of the best performing types of creative that you can make. And I'm going to show you throughout the course of this video why. And when you look at the specific brands that I'll reference that are also utilizing this, you'll probably notice that those brands are very high 8 and 9-figure companies that are leveraging this style of creative, but crucially doing it in a situation where they're actually optimizing for first purchase profitability. So I'm not just going to show you brands that are losing money on acquisition or breaking even and trying to recoup the cash later. This is something that you can utilize in your business when you're trying to obviously optimize for first purchase profitability and ROAS in platform. So the ad type, like I mentioned, is a listicle ad, and in this video I'm going to show you a little bit about how you can actually create them yourselves, what kind of things you need, where to find the creators, what type of scripts you need to write, how you need to construct your hooks and everything like that. But I think one big common kind of misconception about these types of ads is that they are just purely for retargeting, or they're like a very cookie cutter ad format. And I used to believe this too, until we started tweaking our messaging, until we started tweaking our hooks, and we found that listicle creatives are actually an excellent way to target completely ice cold traffic while also gamifying the video viewers experience and incentivizing higher watch time, because viewers are hooked in and there's always a sense of what's coming next. This is called the completion bias. If you are, listing things, whether it's 3, 5, or 7 things, there is an inherent bias within the person you're talking to or the viewer to want to get to the end of that list to see if there's anything that they might have missed, or see if there's anything in there that they didn't perhaps think of themselves. So you can see from this screenshot, this is the ad in question. It did a 2.9x ROAS for the entire month of December, generated over 6,000 purchases with a $32 CPA, and delivered over 570K in revenue for this particular client who did 2.3 million in the month of December. So, talking about 20% of their revenue, maybe more, if my maths is right. So before we get into it, I just want to quickly obviously show you the proof that this actually happened. Okay, so here we are inside the actual ad account itself. This is a top performing ad right here. Like I said, it did over 570K in revenue, $32 CPA, 2.9 ROAS, over 195K spent on this just single ad throughout the month of December. And that's not even talking about second place, which did over 100K in spend as well. So let me just quickly refresh this, make sure everything's legit. I have no reason to fake this. You can go and find my client and ask them if this is the case. But yeah, let me show you the actual creative itself and the specific reason as to why it performed so well and allowed us to scale. And yes, it did allow us to scale into a time where there was a lot of seasonal demand. However, the principles that I'm going to go through in this particular video can be applied throughout the year for any product, for any brand, to be running evergreen, to be running seasonal, to be running specific sales. So let's get into the actual creative itself. You probably won't be able to hear it, and I'm not going to go through the amount of effort that's required to actually make you be able to hear it. You'll be able to read from the captions kind of what the general gist of this video is, and then I'll break down exactly why it works so well. So first things first, you open the first frame with a very, very engaging hook. Why your husband will be obsessed with this knife. So straight away we're talking to the gift giver in this case, who is obviously going to be the wife or the girlfriend, for example, and we're calling out a specific product in the hook. Obviously the visual hook is very engaging as well. You have a split screen and you have engaging B-roll of some ribs being cut and a very nice close-up of what is in itself a very scroll-stopping product. Then it cuts into 3 different reasons. But the key thing you'll notice throughout this entire video is how engaging the B-roll is. This is very important, especially when you're not going to have a creator on screen and you're maybe even going to be utilizing an AI voiceover. We actually used a creative voiceover for this, but if you are going to use an AI voiceover, then it just makes the kind of barrier for your B-roll even higher. Like, it has to be really, really high quality, really engaging B-roll. You have to kind of think of every single scene almost as a scroll stopper in order for it to be effective and actually, retaining watch time. So reason 1, he will get all the compliments whenever he whips out at your next gathering. Then it goes into, so that's the benefit. Then it goes into the feature that backs up the benefit. So the knives are made with hand-forged carbon blade, full tang handle, which we found in our research was something that's quite discussed about knives and this kind of little subculture in the world. Unique finger loop technology, so obviously that's another selling point that we found that resonates very, very well over time, because the whole kind of implication is that you get extra precision when you're cutting. And they are 5 times sharper than average knives. Number 2, he will never need to buy another knife again. So again, each of the reasons is filtered out to be towards a benefit as opposed to just a feature. We use the features to back up the benefits in this particular ad. Most versatile knife money can buy: cutting a thick steak, chopping an onion, cutting through your wife's watch. A little bit of humor in the voiceover. She delivered it a lot better than I did. And then we go to reason number 3, which is the special this holiday season. And again, it goes from 2 benefits, which we found were the most important benefits that mattered most to our customers. And then a CTA, again, engaging B-roll. You see these kind of knives laid out. It looks pretty sick. And then it just goes to CTA, buy 2, get 1 free. So that is the creative. Let's see how many views it actually did. So 8 million views. It went live on the 23rd of November. So a very, very successful ad. Now what I want to do is I want to show you how other brands, again, 8 and 9 figure brands, are utilizing this exact creative style to scale and to produce some of their best performing ads ever. Like, when I was doing my research for this video and I was finding these brands, the common thing I noticed was that whenever I was looking in Spy Tools, AdSpy, or whatever else, for some of the longest running creatives for these brands, some of the most profitable, most viewed, it was always these kind of ads that were popping up. And that's what really put me onto this in the first place when I was looking at these brands. So we'll start with, for example, the Ridge, right? Everyone knows Ridge wallet. And again, we basically kind of ripped this concept from this particular ad when we first found it. This is obviously 4 reasons, we did 3 reasons. But again, you find the same principle. And if you look at their ad, for example, let's see how many views it did. Okay, so this particular Ridge wallet ad did 21 million views. And if we spent, almost 200K on our one, this is almost 3 times that in terms of viewership and reach. Obviously, it's not that black and white, but you can imagine the amount of money this type of ad would have spent for this brand, and why it's probably one of, if not, the top 3 or 5 ads for this brand in the history of this brand. And again, we're going to go through exactly why these particular ads work very, very well for these other brands. And again, the fact that these brands are 8 and 9 figure brands that are acquiring customers profitably should tell you everything that you need to know, that this is a specific type of ad format that works time and time again, replicated over niche. You can make short form versions, long form versions. You can make versions for cold audiences, hot audiences. The principles are the same. So obviously we're going to get into that in a second. First, let's just quickly watch the ad. So the hook, again, first frame, you see the hook, 4 reasons you need this smart wallet. Straight away appeals to and filters out the specific audience that this kind of ad would resonate with. Then you have a very, very engaging clip, which looks like some kind of saw literally slicing in half a old damaged leather wallet. And then it goes into the 4 reasons. So this one actually doesn't even have a voiceover. It just uses music. And this one utilizes more features as opposed to benefits to actually position their 4 reasons for the particular purpose of this ad. Again, like all their visuals, very, very engaging, very, very dynamic. I'm pretty sure the whole thing actually includes just POV footage as well. I don't think you see any creators' faces. And then again, like super engaging, cuts are made very fast, the edit style is very good, the pacing is very good. They combine like UGC style visuals with what looks like more studio style visuals as well. Reinforcing social proof. Again, super engaging clip. And then it goes into their CTA. And that is literally one of their top performing ads ever, which is just like a simple listicle. Okay, so that's Ridge, right? Like that's just one example of a 9-figure brand that is doing this effectively. Are there any others? The answer is 100% there is. If you look at this brand, Pet Lab Co., their one did even more numbers than Ridge's one, 48 million views. And if you want to use the ad that we made as like a proxy for kind of spend estimation, you can imagine kind of what kind of money this ad would have spent for them. And it follows the same principles, but these 2 ads in particular, this one and the next one, they do a very, very good job of tapping into completely ice cold traffic. And that's what I mentioned at the beginning of this video, because they are, I'll show you a comparison of like different types of hooks and how they resonate with different types of audiences to create this kind of ad. And then it will make sense. So let's quickly watch the ad. But again, first frame, 3 signs of yeast issues in your dog's paws. This is heavily utilizing the creation of an open loop, sparking curiosity, and completion bias of the person wanting to get to the 3 signs, because if they love their dog, they want to see if their dog has these kind of issues, or if they already know their dog has these issues, this will reinforce that and then make them even more inclined towards trusting this particular product that they're selling as a potential solution to their problem. So again, you have like, first thing is the first sign, obviously, the first kind of red flag of this particular case. And again, like utilization of the specific wording, corn chips, makes it very relatable. You have something to compare it to. Maybe this is wording that they have found that their customers are utilizing when talking about the smell from their dog's paws where they've had these kind of infections in the past. Then it goes into number 2. Again, this is symptom number 2 of the overarching problem, so tying it back. And basically what these kind of ads do is they do a very good job of getting people to self-select and self-diagnose themselves based on the symptoms that you describe them. And if they have 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3 of the symptoms, then that's a really, really good green flag in their eyes of wanting to actually trust your brand, because A, you actually know what it is that you're talking about, and B, you've explained it in a way to them where it's like very relatable and they have something easy to compare it to. So again, it just makes them trust you a lot more. Again, the third symptom, again, tying back to the same overarching problem. So now you have the qualification. If you've spotted, the guy said, you won't be able to have heard it, but the guy said, if you've spotted 1 or more of these issues, then you need to listen up to what I'm about to say. So again, we're 30 seconds in, again, no mention of a product. This is completely cold traffic. The ad itself is over 2 minutes or just under 2 minutes long. And then it goes into what is the unique mechanism of the problem, unique mechanism of the product, and then positioning the product as the solution. So now you have the actual unique mechanism, which is the problem is not the cause, the root cause actually originates in the gut. And we'll go through, there you go. Now we have the unique mechanism of the product, which is the gut is the problem. These specific dog chews, whatever they are, they flood the gut with good bacteria, rebalance the gut microbiome, your symptoms, your problem disappears. So I won't go through the whole ad because I don't want this video to be insanely long, but this is a perfect example of a listicle style creative executed towards a cold audience to literal perfection. And if you go into AdSpy or Foreplay or Atria and you filter by Pet Lab Co. and you look at their longest running ads, it's literally just this and several different iterations of this for either just like simple hook changes that they've done to this specific winner, or for other products that they have that appeal to different problems, and they've basically constructed the same exact structure of the ad, just applying it to different problems. Now the last one we'll get into is Ryze Superfoods. If you don't know Ryze Superfoods, then I don't really know. But again, this one 42 million views. And again, I'm using the views as just like a number in terms of how long the ad has run for, the kind of reach it had, etc. And again, this is very, very similar script playbook towards, very, very similar script playbook as Pet Lab. So again, 3 signs. They open their ad with exactly the same signs. So here they're talking about, here's 3 signs. You have an inflamed prostate. So if you're a man, if you're in those key age ranges who would suffer from some kind of prostate related issues, potentially prostate cancer or that kind of checks thing that men have to go to at a certain age, this is going to resonate with you. And the visual hook does a very good job of stopping the scroll, because you kind of see this little visual on top, which is like, you know, a bit more engaging than just like the man standing there himself. So reason number 1, constant bathroom trips. So again, one of the other things that I want to say about this specific type of ad format is that the research that is done for these specific ads to work has to be very, very on point. It has to be completely in line with the customer's understanding of the problem and the customer's symptoms that they've experienced. Otherwise, if you're just talking about a completely different set of symptoms that maybe aren't as common or aren't known to like the large demographic of the customer base who suffer from this specific issue, then it just won't resonate. And that's why, you know, in the previous ad they mentioned if you suffer from at least 1 out of these 3 symptoms, like, you want to listen up. So that qualifying mechanism. And again, obviously the more that they suffer with, the more that they realize that, damn, this is actually me, and the more they self-select themselves to be part of this audience and resonate with this ad, the more likely they are to trust you. So now we're going into like agitation. Dismissing conventional solutions. So now you have the ingredient list breakdown, you have the unique mechanism of how the ingredients actually solve this problem. And if you've studied Ryze at all, you'll notice they follow this playbook for pretty much every single pain point that exists that is health related. Like they have ads that are literally the exact same framework for this as for different pain points like stuck poop in your colon, other things to do with like your nervous system, and then like more specific, like what would be like more mainstream gut related stuff. But they do it for pretty much everything. It's a very, very good way to validate new angles with the right research. So I feel my manhood has been completely restored. Now we're going to like desired outcome, the real core desire of the customer. Just reinforcing that the product was what brought about all of these changes. And then you just go to the CTA. So this is not a framework that is unique to me in this video. This is a framework that has been utilized for quite a while from some of the biggest brands in our space. And if you're not utilizing it yet, then hopefully this video is kind of the wake-up call to be able to start testing these kind of ads inside your ad account. And the kind of one caveat that I wanted to give you before I end this video about this specific style of ad is that a lot of people make the mistake of, when they make these kind of ads, they just target, like they make them as almost retargeting, and then they complain that they never scale. And the reason is because your hook, which does like 90% of the heavy lifting in terms of determining who actually sees your ad, because your audience has to self-select themselves to be able to then watch the ad essentially. Otherwise they'll just scroll past. If the caption hook or the audio hook doesn't resonate with them or doesn't call out them in particular, then you won't capture their audience. So a very good example of this would be like, hook number 1 is 3 reasons why insert product name is the worst purchase I made this year. So this kind of ad is inherently relying on the customer or the prospect to already have known about the product. If you just say a random product that they've never heard of, it doesn't mean anything to a cold audience, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe the negative style of the marketing could pique people's interest, of course, but it's not going to be as scalable as the hook number 2 here, for example, which is 3 signs you have stuck poop in your colon. So that's going straight after people who have issues with their colon, digestion, whatever else it might be. And then obviously you have the kind of open loop of the 3 signs. What are those 3 signs? Is this me? Am I suffering from this? Is what I was suffering with in the bathroom last night actually this? Maybe someone understands me. All of these thoughts start to come to the mind, subconsciously, of course, of the potential customer. And this subtle difference in the hook will completely change who your ad is served to, and as a result, how scalable it is. The reason why these ads have managed to scale so big is because they appeal to large target markets, and they do that through the hook and the positioning of the ad itself. If the more you kind of niche yourself into audiences that are lower down the funnel stages of awareness, essentially, and the more you create messaging that will only resonate with a small amount of people, then your ads obviously won't scale. In order for them to scale, you kind of have to tap into mass desire, big problems for a large amount of people. Otherwise, like, you're just going to keep serving impressions to the same people and then wondering why your CPA goes up and you won't be able to spend 100, 200, 300K on a single creative and execute it to this level. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video. This is a pretty interesting little case study on just one single creative that we made for a client that brought in over $500,000 in revenue in 30 days. So I thought I would share it. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'll reply to you. If you want to learn how we've created these kind of ads, the systems, the SOPs, the operations that it requires to be able to produce a consistent pipeline of ads with a high win rate for a portfolio that we have in terms of our agency of now like almost strictly 8 and 9 figure brands only, then I'll leave a link in the description below. You can check out my Ad Creative Masterclass program. It's an excellent resource for you to utilize either yourself or to give to your team to utilize and implement. And some of the people that have bought it already have had some very, very good things to say about it. I stand by it, otherwise I wouldn't be selling it. And for the price, it's up there for, like, it's almost negligible if you actually run a successful business. So yeah, subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.